Okay. So good morning, everybody. Oh, I gotta click record over here. Recording to the cloud. Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is episode 398, maybe. Oh, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. Who else is talking? Yeah, it's one of those mornings. So, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's safe and having a good awakening. Go ahead and send out your messages this morning. Send it out to those misfits that you love, those misfits you think that are amazing. And yeah, send out some messages of love. Way to go, Ralph. Got a big old D from Ralph. So here's a question for you. Well, first of all, the background behind me. So I did a live yesterday morning on my Facebook page. And then I did this conversation in Instagram yesterday. I did a live. And then I had a very dear friend, Tiffany Malott, jump on there. And it was fun to see her jump on there. Tiffany's this amazing soul who's had 19, 20 years in our profession. And then she kind of stepped out. She went through a divorce. She had some issues, had some challenges. And she decided to do this thing called Digital Diva. Is it Digital Diva Online? I forget what it is. What is it? Anyways, I'll think of it in a second. But so she was on and I was talking about her and how she does things in her magazine that allows her to actually give people a new perspective of themselves in the matter of a couple of hours, between some makeup and some accessories and some clothing. And it just turns people into these amazing souls. It brings out the best in them. And then you put them in a group together and all of a sudden things change dramatically. Hold on just a second here. I don't need to do that. I need to do this. And mute. Got it. So she said, hey, listen, let's go do a live together. I said, awesome. And then we had an interactive conversation. And some of you I sent that link to, but yeah, it was pretty fun because she said that there's very few people that challenge her mind. And when you get to know Tiffany, the coffee reference. Wow. Did I say that in the Steph, could you remind me? Because probably I don't remember what I was saying.
You were saying how when you give her something of your coffee, what does it leave you with? With more room for fresh coffee. Talking about, giving to other people, it leaves more rooms. I love that. Like, that was like, wow.
So yeah, so that's how things have been happening lately. Just when you're in the flow. But yeah, right. This bottle of water gives me some water. There's more space to put some more water in it, and that's what's happening right now. Is that in society, globally, we're being able we're given an opportunity, we're given a chance to give away some of us. What are you giving away of you today? What did you give away yesterday? What will you give away today? Because there's some people who gave away some fear and anxiety yesterday. Guess what they get to have today? A little bit, they got some more room for fear and anxiety. Right? If somebody gives away, if you watch Monique's YouTube series, Mouthful, when they talk about when somebody was being racist or somebody was being hurtful to one of the panelists that they were talking about a moment in time of history in their life, that gives somebody a chance to be more hurtful, right? When we buy into our own story and we think, well, that's just who I am. That's what this all comes down to. So I'd ask you today, what balance are you looking for? Well, Sean, there's no balance in this thing right now. Everything is tipsy-turvy. Everything is upside down. Well, guess what? If everything is upside down and if everything is out of balance, guess what you have more of? More of out of balance. What mastery are you working on today? Are you working on the mastery of being out of balance? Are you working on the mastery of confusion and frustration? Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. People have gotten sick every day. People have died every day. Children have died every day. There's still children dying every day of starvation. There's people who pass along energies every day. There's people who've been isolated every day. This one just seems to have manifested in a different way. So why is this different? If somebody was to take a snapshot, right? Remember, this is what we were talking about yesterday. Thinking fractionates the total. If I label something, I give it a concept, I minimize it. This is a water bottle. Well, now I've stopped thinking about everything else in about the house, about you, about everybody else. When I look at that, when I label that, and I identify that, all of a sudden now that's where my focus goes. But if I sit quietly in breath, I can take in the awe that is this moment in time. And in the awe of this moment in time, do I decide to be in joy or decide to be in misery? So there's a consciousness that's being awakened in us, put upon us, pushing us to become aware of it. What are you becoming aware of today? What are you going to master today that you didn't yesterday? The challenge is so many people are experiencing life at a whole new level that it's so new, they're not sure what to do. So as you sit where you are this morning, as you sit with what you are this morning, the question then becomes, what do I do? And you know why there's so much conversation? You know why there's so much anxiety? My perception is because we're being asked to do nothing. Right? You've seen the memes, the cartoons, where it says, your grandparents went to war to save the country, to save the world, and now we're being asked to lie in front of the TV. Man, let's not screw this up. We're being asked to do nothing. And a part of our human nature is to not do nothing. This transition that we're all experiencing to do less, become more, is being directed upon us. Some people aren't paying any attention to it. But that's exactly what we're being asked to do. Do less, become more, and change the world.
General,
Yes, sir.
sorry to interrupt you, sir.
No, go, sir.
It's, I guess to us, right, or to me, my brain is kind of working while you're speaking, but I guess it kind
That's
of
a good thing.
it makes, I understand becoming more by doing less, but I don't know how I could ever explain it to anybody.
If you wanted to work on your biceps, if you wanted to get 28-inch biceps, what would you work on?
On my legs. on the biceps.
Right. But I mean, most people would work on the legs, right?
Yeah.
Because most people are trying to figure out how to be in balance. That's what we get judged on. That's what Mr. Universe gets judged on. Balance, overall body performance. That's going to require you to be in the top 1/10 of 1% of focus. Most people don't have that focus. So if we decide to become good at the thing we're good at. So yesterday, how much did you do? How much time did you spend raising my son, Mason?
0.
So you don't want to be a better dad?
Yes, sir.
So you focus on your family. So that's how you explain it. Why are you trying to raise my kid? Why don't you raise your kid? Why are you trying to worry about what I'm doing in life? He's an idiot. They're stupid. Why are they doing that? That's trying to raise my kid. Don't raise my kid. Raise yours. Do less, be more.
Makes sense, sir. Makes sense.
There you go. I figured you'd teach me how to explain it to you. Right? You're helping in the trucking department. You're helping in the shipping department. Are you worrying about what paper the company buys? Are you worrying about what air the compressor in the maintenance department uses? Are you worrying about the asphalt they put in the parking lot or the concrete?
No, sir.
No, you have a job, you focus. That's why you're still working. That's why somebody comes by unexpectedly after you give somebody some soup for the day, makes you feel good. You drew in the activity, you drew in by doing less. How much less could you do than buy somebody soup? That's a pretty less thing. Unless, Jim Rohn's favorite word, unless it means something to somebody. The simple act of human kindness was repaid.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
There you go, sir. Great question. Thank you for asking it. Thank you for asking. Yeah. Well, you gave me the answer. You already had it. That's why you knew it all. So what is everybody else experiencing? I mean, ask some questions. Let's have some dialogue. What can you do in your area? What energies are you looking to bring to the world? What little things like that conversation with Manny makes you go, oh, okay. Because this is a moment in history that we get to change the way we look at things and the things we look at change. What mastery are you looking to come out of this? Because you will become a master. This moment in time will forge you into a master.
Hi, Sean.
Hello.
It's been a while. I haven't spoke. And I haven't spoke because, when your second voice tells you don't speak or like, mind you, I have spoken before, so I don't know why.
Yeah.
So, something that I just been wanting to share lately, the fact that I'm being so in line with the universe. And yesterday I saw a video, pastor sending a message of what's really going on with the coronavirus when it comes to God. God made this happen so that we could come together and like really see the bigger picture to why this is happening and what are we going to do to help people like come together and like show God the gratitude and be grateful and like just come together as one. And that was like my main message of that. Like, what are we going to do today to come as one? What are we going to do today to be connected to God and let him guide us if we have faith in him? So I was like, wow, this is so good. And then I was just in the same frequency, I guess, because I've been seeing the same number that I have been seeing for 5 years now, 420. And before I didn't know what that meant, but I found out that 420 means spiritually means that you have to live your purpose. And I'm pretty sure I have spoken to you about that before, that is my purpose, is my drive. It's like what I live for, to make other people feel good about themselves and like being as an example. And then me speaking to you and, you know, telling you everything you have told me, that to believe in myself more, to love me more so that I could be able to give that same love back. And I've been working on that. You know, it's been an amazing. I appreciate you so much for that, because that is like my go-to motto, right? To be better, to do better, and then be able to show others to do the same. So I've been having like a lot of breakthroughs lately, and like I'm still feel like I'm being connected to that. And yesterday, you know, I was talking to my team, I was talking to my friends, and then something told me, oh, check this famous person on Instagram, like her IG story. So I went ahead, and like it was a nice house in Florida, and before the house you could see the address, like the number of the house. The number of the house was 14201. So you see the 420. And before that, was speaking to one of my team about, oh, you know, I'm proud of you. Keep working on your craft. Keep being confident in yourself. And I have said something before as well, that it was just like helping others to feel better in themselves, helping others to be connected, helping others to be confident, because confidence is what's going to lead you to go after what you truly desire, having more confidence in yourself and believing in yourself. The same thing you have taught me, like to do for me. And I'm excited me talking about this. Like I still feel like an aha moment, because it's like it is amazing feeling when you help others do something, or not even do something, like help others be better, do better, right? And oof, I don't know, like I don't know if you could sense the energy that I feel so much inside, because I haven't really expressed this in your call, and I've been wanting to. And something told me this is the time for you to do it. People need to hear your story like you have told me, and find a way that you could do something that you're going to be able to help people around the world. Like, what are you going to do today to help people around the world? And I was talking to my mom yesterday, and you know how parents are, they don't really understand what you're going through. They don't really understand your purpose. They don't really understand like your dreams and desire. So she was just like, oh, that sounds good. Because I told her that I will be able to change the world positively, impacting people's life on a positive way. Whether it is to just love more, to support more, to help people to believe in themselves more. And she was like, sounds good. You know what? Just, you know, continue doing it. For once, I made her realize that the purpose of why you have to do what you're doing, to help people, because God sends people like you to this earth to help people to come together, to love more. And the main, like you always said, MLM is me loving more. So you have to always show love. You always got to support people, because you don't know who need that love, that support. So I'm a genuine giver. So I'm already love to give and be there for people. So I had to give myself that love, which I already been working on that. So it feels double amazing when you be able to do it together at the same time, doing less and being more, and be yourself. So yes.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I love you for that. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That was awesome. And here's a little note about the conversation you had about your parents, where that you finally was able to awaken her mom to that. Uh, here's what happens when people awaken. We get out of their we get out of their ears and into their eyes. And this happens with people who see us in a new light, right? People who see us in a new way. We get out of their ears and we get into their eyes. Sometimes they can't see the things that we're doing right in front of us because all they can hear is the old story. I believe the reason that it was easier for them to transition to see you in the light that you've been, that makes you go, oh, you're finally seeing me. You're seeing me for what I'm becoming, not what I was, is because of the essence with which you began to live life that morning and the essence you choose to live life this morning. Sometimes the best way to help people change the way they look at things is to change the way we show up in things. And that could be just the energy with which we have a dialogue, the energy with which we pour love into a conversation. It's the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system says, what you desire to look for, I will ensure you find. It's why there's people out there today who are absolutely beside themselves and don't know what to do next. And there's other people who sit quietly on a morning call with a level of confidence saying, all I can do is now, and I choose joy in this moment. Same world, same stories going on. It's just, what are you using to feed your life? And you've changed what's feeding your life. And therefore, when you change what feeds your fire burns differently. You can have a very small fire depending upon the wood you're burning and it be very hot. You can have a very large fire and that all it does is smoke. So the question is, the conversation I'd have with yourself is, what's changed? What did I choose to get better at? What did I choose to do less of so that I could become more? I applaud you for that.
Thank you so much. Just to say it out loud, because, when you have an old story, you wouldn't say that, but I have to share it. I had to mute myself because I felt like I have another breakthrough, and the feeling of letting that out, I had to cry about it. Like, I don't know why, but it's a good thing because people think about crying and being a bad thing. It's just an excitement because I could feel my heart pounding fast. And it's like, you actually did it, and I'm proud of myself for doing this.
I love it.
And I just had to share that, like, because sometimes we don't show that vulnerability or we don't show that side because we don't want people to know that. And I don't know, something just told me, mute yourself, let people know that, it's okay to cry, to feel an excitement, to be that person that you're meant to be, and, to still spread love and still be there for yourself and for others. And thank you so much, Sean.
Mwah. Thank you. Because what you just shared this morning is fuel for people to use in their fire. Too many people are afraid of their own flame going out. Too many people are afraid of their flame being extinguished. Them not having fuel to light their fire, to keep their fire burning. I believe, I know for me, I'll speak for me. You allowed me a tremendous amount of fuel to gather your heat, to use it in my own fire. So thank you for that. And I could hear the vibration in your voice as you were changing in your frequency. What a beautiful moment to experience.
Thank you.
Make sure you give yourself a little gift today, something. watching a movie, a laugh, something that's funny, something to give yourself some recognition for doing that. And people are sending you love on the chat. It's pretty amazing. So these are proud moments for me. I love watching my friends take the step into their own greatness, take a step out of the shadows. Because when you're in the shadows, you're unseen. You can be heard, but you're unseen. Right now, the world needs people to step up and be seen. So it's requiring us to have to step out of the shadows. Out of the shadows, into the light. And into the light, sometimes we squint. We can't quite see things the way we are. But here's what the sticker says on the front of my screen right here. If you become aware, you can see in the dark. Too many of us are standing on the edge of darkness, on the edge of lightness, but we're still in the shadows, afraid to be seen. We can see everything that's going on out there, but we can't participate because we're afraid to be seen. This moment in time, sages like you, sages like Manny, sages like every single one of you. Sages, what do you mean sages? People who expound wisdom. People who share their experience, people who challenge people to be greater. That's what each of you are here. This moment in history is not going to use people who have been studying. The Dalai Lama will always be used. Mooji will always be used. Sadhguru will always be used. Your grandfather or grandmother, who is the wisdom of your family, the sage of your family, will always be used. It's a transition. It's a change. Some of you will become icons of conversation. What's it say in the good book? Even the least amongst me could do this and more. Some of you are thinking, well, it's not going to be me. It will be you. There will be something of yours, right? Because we've been talking for years about wanting something to go viral of ours. Man, if I could just get a video to go viral. This is your time. This is your moment. Speak from your heart. Because the other thing that's happening right now is the what's the word? I can see it. I see the image that's being flashed in my head. We're being tested in the fire of authenticity. And your authentic you, if it doesn't come out, it gets burnt up. Your authentic you is needed right now to give people courage, to give people hope, to give people faith. If you've been on the calls for a while, you watch everybody on here who speaks. You watch right before your eyes that you witness these transitions. You see a Michelle transition right in front of us, What might have taken years to do happens in a matter of weeks, a matter of days, a matter of moments. In this instant, it happened now. You listen to a Steph who's absolutely transitioned back and forth and up and down and been put in the fire and come out of the fire and quenched in tears and put back in the fire, and you listen to how she's changed. You listen to our friends share in their moments in this community. Why? Because it's safe, because I am a misfit. And you watch these transitions day after day after day after day. Well, what do they say sometimes in the parking lots of churches when they hear stories? That'll preach. You listen to a Rhonda, who I get to witness on a regular basis go through amazing transformations. And I get to sit quietly because she will talk herself through it and she'll go, huh, wow, that just happened. We witnessed Brittany right in front of our eyes since January, right in front of our eyes. Transition, awaken. The world needs to hear you. The world needs you. Yeah, but there's so many people out there. There's people who are looking for you that can only resonate with you. Are we looking for, Scott Schilling has done some trainings on here. Are you looking for impact or are you looking for fame? Right? He talks about a woman whose book was being launched, but it was coming out, it was being released the same time 40 Shades of Grey was, or 50 Shades of Grey, whatever the thing is. And she says, nobody's going to buy my book. He says, well, who needs to buy your book? What if one person buys your book and turns out to be Mother Teresa incarnate, Mother Teresa squared? The purchase of that one book will impact the world. Are you okay with that? Yes. So you're looking for impact, not fame. What are you looking for right now? Are you looking for impact or are you looking for fame? Yeah, but I don't know what to do. Do something. Check in your heart. Is this what I want? Is this the feeling I want? Is this the service I need? There will be people that come out of this, that come out of this. There will be a sector of society, a community, a psychographic who comes out of this transition that we're all experiencing. Their health will improve, their life will improve, and their life will be longer. They may go back to being to the when they talk about, and I forget where it is in the Bible, but people are 300, 400, 500 years old. Maybe that's what's going to transition out of this, because we're in such great service to others. The telomeres on our genes absolutely grow to unbelievable lengths, and the body, when it replicates, it takes away aging. Think about it. Epictetus right now is 2,000 years old. Buddha is however old he is, because we still talk about them. How old do you plan on being? And some of the easiest ways, some of the biggest ways to have an impact on somebody is to thank them for being here. So, Steph, let's hear your topics.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, girl. Hey, girl.
Hope you're doing good.
Doing amazing when I get to talk with you.
Aw. Yeah, so two things. One was a little wow moment that, as I said, reminded me of you, actually. It was a conversation that I had with my girl Delia yesterday. She's actually on the call today for the first time because I told her she needs to.
Hello, Delia.
And I had a conversation with her, and I actually told her about the story when you and I were talking, and I had my hand on my neck, and you were like, "What are you hearing?" I told her about the story, and she mentioned to me how she had been looking into body language and things like that.
Yeah.
And she told me that she read about how when we, let's say, walk on the street and we see someone we know, we nod with the head going up, exposing our neck, saying like we're vulnerable and that it's okay. But when we see someone that we don't know, we nod to them like head down, protecting our neck. And I was just I thought about that. I was like, that is so true. And it reminded me of you, how you were always able to read the body language. It was just, wow. Like, I thought about moments and I was like, that's right. That's what you do. It was just interesting. I just wanted to share it because you always do that and do things like that with us.
Well, again, who we are speaks so loud, I don't need to hear what you're saying. That makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is how people live. And that's why they're in such a confused state, is because they're trying to present themselves as other than themselves. Right? We have a TV show, and I don't know it, but the thing called The Mask, where people sing underneath these amazing costumes and they go to great details to keep those people hidden. But and then they sing, but it's the biggest show because everybody's wearing a mask. Everybody can relate to it. And it's interesting to see who comes out from under the mask when they don't meet the mark. They're still in competition, they're still in comparison, and every day this one's better than that one. So listen, even the doctor who was at the last one on the list out of a class of 100, he was number 100, still becomes a doctor. The question is, when we're at our lowest point in life, we're still a human being. How do we transition ourselves? Where is the source of what moves us on our own scale? It's our own awakening to ourselves, and it is paying attention to our own body language. It's why you've heard me recommend to you and to others, when you dry off in the shower, dry yourself off differently, shower yourself up differently. Imagine if you went into the shower and you took a shower bent over the whole time. If you had like your bad back and you were just bent over the whole time in the shower, right? Or you could only use the washcloth with one hand. What would you do? How would you? It's just be aware in the moment. In this moment is all you have. If you're not in this moment, if you're not paying attention, right? If you're not asking yourself, what does that mean? What was that meant for me to understand? We go through life in this habitualization where we habitualize, we become habitized to the moment, right? There's sounds in your room right now that if we took just a pause for a second and you listen to things around, you would hear things that you would normally hear, but now you become aware of them. So that's very cool. What's part 2 of that?
Part 2 is a question, something that I've noticed. So part of my morning routine is to listen to the Tony Robbins exercise, the priming exercise that he does. Yes. Yep. That one with the gratitude and imagining the things I want to achieve and things like that. And what I've noticed this morning is that at some point, me sitting there with my eyes closed, paying attention, being in a moment, listening to him, is that I'm sitting down and my upper body starts moving. And first I thought, okay, am I doing this on purpose? And I just like forced myself to stop, but it felt weird. And I just wanted to have your input on that, because it was just, I just really like recognized it today. It happened the other times too, but today I was like, what does that mean?
So have you ever seen a ceiling fan in a room?
Yeah.
And what makes it move?
Electricity.
Or if two doors are open and there's wind blowing through it, right? Resistance. Yeah. Does the fan blade care what moves it?
No.
And is a fan blade designed to sit still?
No.
So it's at its joy when it's in its movement, when it's in its friction.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what moves it. So right now, when you sit still and you sit quiet, there's an energy that's awakening inside of you. and it's looking to get out. It's looking to present itself. Because, like it or not, you're moving all the time. The desk you're looking at is moving all the time. Everything is in motion.
Mhm.
Everything is in transition. So when you sit quietly and you focus your energy, you're being electrified. You're being energized. And if you think you're moving yourself, okay. And if you don't think you're moving yourself and you're being moved by that force that beats your heart, right? Then that's happening too. You will move until you center yourself. Because once you're centered, there's no reason for movement.
Mhm.
We're in this constant desire to be in action, to go here, to do this, to do that, to do this. But see, even when you sit still and you're doing less, you're becoming more. In some ways, sometimes for the energy to align itself, you actually do move around. Your body is in a constant state of balance. If we become aware of our stillness, we become aware of movement. When you become still, isn't everything else moving?
Mhm.
So this is your body working on its way to get stillness, to realign itself, to get its energy in place, to put all of your energy in order for you to sit still.
I like that. Thank you
when
for
you
your
he-
input.
When you hear the mystics talk about their awakenings, and they sat still, and all of a sudden they woke up and it was hours later. Every mystic you hear, you'll hear these stories when they've had their awakening. You listen to Eckhart Tolle sitting on a park bench, sitting in his room when he has the first experience. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe what just happened. And the awareness and the awakening became so great, he went and lived on a park bench for 2 years. Because there was just no way for him to be in this normal existence that he used to know. You listen to Stuart Wilde when he had his awakening. Beautiful. At 23, 24 years old, making $20,000 a month back in the 60s, 70s, selling jeans in Europe. Beautiful house, penthouse in a building. I mean, just an amazing flat in London. Told people to come by and take anything they want out of the house, and all within a week takes the keys to his apartment, throws them down into the drainage ditch so he couldn't have a chance to go back, and he leaves. And sometimes these transitions, that for many of us, we're not at a point right now where that would make sense to us. But when you awaken to your greatness, you will leave everything behind. Many of you have left stories behind already. I dare to say everyone on this call has left stories behind already. The challenge is you're being asked to leave them behind much quicker in this moment in time. In this moment in history, you're being asked, hang on to it, fine, let it go, fine, but the faster you let go and adapt and adopt to this new era that's coming, to be the servant leader that you've desired to be. Well, I don't know how. I mean, everybody's so scared. I don't want to scare anybody. It's always scary when you wake up and you don't know where you're at. So what are you awakening to that you're not familiar with? But what are you awakening to that you're not familiar with, but you also call home?
Are you asking me?
Sure.
Oh. I don't know. I
Okay.
really don't know.
So let me ask it a different way. When you awaken in this moment today, where are you awakening from?
Sleep
And where were you sleeping?
in my bed.
Okay. And your bed is a place of familiarity, yet you wake up each day into the unknown and don't freak out. And the unknown is every day without the virus, without COVID-19. Every day we wake up, we don't know where we are. The reason we stay in the same house is because we want to have a place we call home. Where is home? Where is home? If you're home, how could you ever be sad? How could anybody ever be mad? How could anybody ever be scared if we're all home?
I always say home is where the heart is.
Then if you're where your heart is, absolutely. If you're where your heart is, then how could you ever be sad? Because we leave our heart. How could you ever be excited? Because you left your misery. Well, you can't be excited all the time. Okay. Really? Wow. You know how hard it is to, you know how hard it is to be frustrated? How much energy it takes to be scared? You want to lose weight? You want to lose weight? Go swim in 70-degree water in a pool. The shaking your body does, the shivering your body does, burns more calories than you could ever imagine. But yet we vibrate inside all the time because we're in this constant state of just pain. Right? We've all read the stories of where a deer gets chased by a wolf and the deer responds going, I don't want to get eaten today. And it runs its butt off. 20 minutes later, it's eating grass again going, oh, this is some good grass, man. Another deer shows up. He doesn't go, you should have seen what happened 2 days ago. 2 days ago, this wolf tried to bite my ass. Oh my God. I ran and I ran and I ran and I cleared the fence and he hit the fence. What are you talking about? Yeah, 2 days ago, the wolf. Don't you remember the wolf? Who are you? Who are you? What are we storing our memory with to try to remember who we are and who people are? What if everybody who walked into your life was an angel? Was a message from God, was a message from somewhere. Change the way we look at things, and the things we look at change. There's no reason in the world. Listen, there's no reason in the world for Tiffany Malott to invite me onto her call and to say publicly, he challenged my thinking, and very few people in the world challenge my thinking. Why did that need to be expressed? Because it's a truth for her.
Not just for her.
But this is why she engaged in it. She engaged in it because she watched my live and she says, we got to do one together. Yes. When? Now, let's do it. And I said, I would love to dialogue with you on my page. She said, I'm in. There's going to be collaboration and cooperation of people you never imagined. One of the things that Tiffany said, she goes, every time I'm in a moment of challenge, I wind up with a message from Sean. I don't know that it's the right time to send it. I just send it. Right. I talked on the evening daily awakening, on the evening awakening call. When we talk about when we want to go hit our target, and everybody in the chain of commands needs to get permission to fire the weapon, they say, send it. And then the response is sent. So what are you sending this morning? What are you sending into the world? Let me just read a couple of things out of here. Let's see if anything jumps out at me. When did you lose your negotiation with the universe? Or when did you win your negotiation with the universe? What are you negotiating for right now? Are you negotiating for calmness, for peace, for love, for joy, for happiness in your life, for money in your life, for people to join your business? I spent yesterday, I kid you not, from 6:30 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, there's probably 2 hours in there that I wasn't on a Zoom. It's one of the busiest days I've ever had in a while. Between lives and conversations and three-way, four-way Zoom calls and five-way Zoom calls and training calls and moments of just sharing wisdom, listening to wisdom, being taught, teaching. It was an exhausting day yesterday of joy. I finally said I had to go to bed. I go, this is too much joy. I got to go to bed. What is the negotiation you're looking to work on today? And what negotiation skills do you need to get better at? What is there to negotiate when you say, I love you? Is there any negotiation in that? What episode in your life made you feel alone, forgotten, left out, no longer belong? And who had to participate in that? What would change if you decided to never be alone, forgotten, left out? That's the reticular activating system. What you're looking for, you will find. You will find 1,001 reasons to not belong, to be left out. I know this. It almost took 3 years for me to feel like I fit in high school. Farm boy. We've all heard my brilliance in school wasn't always, I was always on the dean's list, but it was the one nobody got. It was the dean's list that never got posted. Until I found my space and I started coaching the teachers, mentoring the teachers. I coached the faculty basketball team, right? The intramural basketball team. I coached the faculty basketball team for 2 years as a junior and a senior in high school. Never done before, and it, to my knowledge, has never been done again. Literally coaching them, sitting on the sideline, subbing them in, subbing them out, doing practice. Little did I know that 30 years later, 30 whatever years later, 83 to whatever it is now, almost 35 years later, that I would be sitting on a call with amazing sages from around the world having a similar conversation of awakening. What negotiation are you going to choose to absolutely govern over, to absolutely gain in your favor with the simplicity of you being you? That's the negotiation you're having with the universe. Can I be me? What do you think the universe says? The universe says, absolutely. Your wish is my command. When you pray to God, everybody's talking about praying to God. Pray bigger. RBP, what are you hearing, young lady?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm hearing that I love this. I'm hearing that y'all just always blow me away. And I've loved listening to, I've loved listening to all of it. As I was listening to Michelle, and she was talking about how This time, her, y'all are so sweet. This time, when she talked to her mother, it's like her mother got her. And my thought was this: is it possible, Michelle, that your mother is still in the same state she always has been? And because of your awakening, you're capable of not needing her approval as much, and you can accept her where she's at, and it doesn't bother you if she doesn't see you the way you see yourself. And so I wrote down, showing up in your awakening allows us to see people in a new way, and that appears that they see us differently. And we actually see them in a different way. It's kind of like taking off the rose-colored glasses and putting on a different color of glasses. The person is still there, but you see them in a different color. And maybe I'm saying that, Michelle, because oftentimes when we talk about what's happening to us or what we need to hear. And I know that that's happening for me. I don't know that a lot of the people directly in my life are working to change their thoughts or to expand their thoughts, or being on a call like this. Y'all are so sweet. I love all of y'all, and the comments y'all are loving on me. But I know this: all the people in my life right now seem so differently. And every time I pray about that or I ask God about that, it's because I'm showing up differently. And it allows me to extend grace and mercy to them. Remember, grace and mercy are getting what we don't deserve and getting, I just stumped myself. Grace and mercy, getting what we don't deserve and getting what we don't deserve to get. And not getting what we deserve. That's what it is. Not getting what we deserve and getting what we don't deserve to get. And I guess, honestly, maybe it's a confession. And Michelle, maybe you pulled it out of me, and I'm glad you did. It could be that I've always spoke of giving grace and mercy, and now I'm actually able to do it because I don't need from them. And it puts me in that place of servanthood. And so while you were talking about your mom, yeah, me too, Michelle. While you were talking about your mom, I was thinking about me and my mom and my family, me and my sisters, me and my friends. And I think about how easy it is to be around others now without going into I live in a world full of stupid people. I don't go there near as often. Now, because of my personality, I will probably still have that struggle, and that's fine. If that's my struggle, that is, I feel like, but seeing y'all go through this and then hearing Steph ask the questions that she asked and hearing Sean talk about all that they have these different questions, I can see now, and Sean and I talked about this yesterday, I can see now where people get caught in their own thinking. And Millionaire Mom, I love you. I can see where they get caught in their own thinking, and how I was getting caught in my own thinking, and how it just takes one person to show up in a conversation, willing to just allow someone else to show up and not needing to get, but willing to just be or to give. And maybe that's grace and mercy, or maybe it's wisdom. It's just whatever that person's asking for. And how getting out of the thinking, and Sean and I said this last night, at what part thinking gets you into your heart. And it's through these awakenings that your thinking will get you into your heart. And when you get into your heart, you can extend all kinds of love and grace and mercy. And if you're, yeah, we are. And I even had to go deeper. I had to clean out my heart. It's just like what Brittany said the other day about how Sean said, look at your heart from a 3D perspective and see if there's anything other than that bright pink color she described it as. And I had to do some heart cleaning, because out of the mouth, the heart speaks. And if I want to speak life and grace and mercy and kindness and generosity, I got to make sure that's my heart. And oftentimes we're so stuck in our heads, we never check what our heart is doing or what it's feeling, or if it's tainted, or if it's decaying, or if it's thriving. We never check there because we're so worried about our thoughts. We get so self-centered in our thoughts that when you can get out of your thoughts, this is what Sean means by doing less. When you can get out of your thoughts and into your heart and check your heart, you'll never have to worry about your thoughts, because your heart will be healthy, and it will beat again, and it will stop decaying and rotting, and it will come to life. And as you put things like what Sean's teaching us, and as you read the Bible, and as you listen to good information that's kindness and generosity and grace and love and peace, it'll go into your heart and settle in. And as it does, out of the mouth, the heart speaks. And then when you show up like Michelle does in front of her mother, and she goes, it's like my mom really saw me. I think, Michelle, you've always been great. You just got out of the way and you allowed your heart to shine through, because you accepted your mom, whether she saw your greatness or not. Now, as a mom now, she's probably always known you were great. She's just been waiting for you to see it. And some of us have parents that know we're great, and they're intimidated by that because of something inside their heart. But as a mama, I see the greatness in my daughter all the time. I'm just waiting for her to see it. And again, I think that's what's so attractive to, thanks, Michelle. I think that's why we're so attracted to Sean. And this is why I chase after this man. And I'm going to say this first: Sean is not my savior, and he is not my guru for everything. Sean happens to be an amazing man who, yeah, thank God. Sean happens to be an amazing man who is willing to get out of the way and let whatever needs to come through to me. He's a great conduit. And we're attracted to him because he sees us show up the way he knows we can. We just haven't yet. And I learn that from him all the time. I learn from him how to show up in authenticity and in grace and in mercy and in kindness and in love. And I love that. I love that. And I think everybody on this call, I think that's what you desire. I think that's why you get your butt up at 6:30 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning or 7 o'clock in the afternoon, or whatever time it is over there, Steph, 7 hours ahead. That's why we flock to this call. That's why we flock to the bookstores for personal development, because down inside, we really, really want to show up. And we want to show up for ourselves, and then we want to show up for others. And it's beautiful what's happening here. And listening to this, my mind goes in 600 different directions. And I'm getting confidence from hearing Michelle and Steffi. I'm like, okay, you know what? I probably need to be doing a little bit more of exposing my story and who I am. And I was told that yesterday as well. And Sean and I talked about that. And I had a lady speaking to me, and she was like, man, I would have never thought a strong woman like you would struggle with self-worth. And it hit me square between the eyes. And I thought, you know what? That's one place I haven't shown up well yet. And you guys are giving me the strength to do that. So I'm, oh, Michelle, it's a fun story. I'm over here just kind of hovering over the earth right now and enjoying this. So thanks for letting me chat for a minute, Sean. But yeah, I've got 2 pages of notes just from listening to y'all. I love y'all. You're muted, Sean.
Here's something that just jumped off of the page at me. Y'all may want to write this down. It's exhausting to work against yourself. That's pretty basic statement. Here's the rest of it. It's exhausting to work against yourself when you encounter someone who believes in you. It's exhausting to work against yourself when you encounter someone who believes in you.
That's doing less, becoming more.
And the doing less is letting the belief somebody has in you come true.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure, be happy to. It's exhausting to work against yourself, to beat ourselves up, tell our old story, put ourselves in a box. It's exhausting to work against yourself when you encounter someone who believes in you.
Sean, can you repeat what you meant with, you said the doing less part, what exactly it is?
So when you encounter someone who believes in you, it becomes exhausting to fight against your old story. If I tell you, Steph, I believe in you, in this moment, you can choose joy, you can choose misery. You're this amazing soul. And you break down in tears because nobody's ever spoken to you that way. You can't imagine somebody seeing in you this thing. Where is he even looking? He can't even be looking at me. So the exhaustingness is not hearing the new story and going, oh, okay, I choose to put on that suit. And the exhausting part is the resistance of the belief somebody has in you because you're trying to do more. But when you do less, you become more. When you stop the old story, the exhausting part is getting rid of the old story. The exhausting part that people are going to have for the next year is realizing they work from home. The exhausting part is realizing that there is this level of awareness and awakeness. We're going to see things at a micro level in people that we always knew were there, but now we're looking for, do they show any signs of not being healthy? So we're going to become hyper vigilant and watching, does somebody cough, sneeze, wipe their nose, right? But in doing less, we become more. So if we can just do less of all of the hodgepodge of social media and everything else, because most people don't make any money off of social media, and the fact that they have likes and they're influencing, and they're not really an influencer, because the second another influencer comes along, the people are gone off to that. So they're really not an influencer, and they lose their story and they lose their whole identity. But when you come across somebody that says, I love you, the whole world stops spinning on its axis. It spins in a whole new direction. It spins with a new light. The sun is brighter. The birds sing clearer. The ground feels cooler. The hill feels less steep when we fall back in love with ourselves. Doing less, becoming more. You're at your greatest peace when you're sitting on your porch watching the world go by. Where does your creativity come from? People say their creativity comes from when they're taking a shower.
If I can offer a little metaphor that might clarify some of this. When cows come in in the morning to get milk, sometimes they don't like to go in the barn, but they do want to get milk because it's uncomfortable.
Yep.
So all it takes is maybe somebody to pull on their tail for them to decide that they do want to go in the barn.
Yep. So sometimes to wake up, right? So I'm going to tell a little fib on myself yesterday. Well, not a little
Yeah,
fib, a little-
to do less.
Yeah.
So they get milk.
yeah, because they don't have to do the milking. They want the pain to go away. I want the pain to go away. I want the pain to go away. Well, just step in there. Ugh. And they step into the stanchion locks, and they get milked. They're like, oh, yay.
Isn't that
Yesterday-
interesting? To
What's that?
give and it releases the pressure,
Mm-hmm. So they have more room to make what?
more milk.
But sometimes they just need somebody to pull on their tail to
Yep.
get them to go in the right direction.
And most people are thinking to pull in the opposite direction. But when you pull a cow's tail to move them, usually take it, curl it up, and point it in the direction they need to go. So yesterday morning, right, I was a minute late or so. I literally woke up I looked at the clock, it was 6:29. And from 6:29, by the time I got in here, did all of the clicking and setting up and everything else, it was less than a minute from dead asleep to awake. What about your 2 hours of meditation? Yeah, that did not happen yesterday. Did not happen pre-call. Well, wait a minute. How long does it take you to get ready? No time at all. I share that to say, because when you have something you need to do, how many of you have ever rushed to the airport? Ever rushed to an event, to a meeting? Getting dressed in the car? All of these things to say, when you remove the old story and allow the people that believe in you to pour into you, and you take on that belief, the challenge is right now, there's going to be a different dichotomy. There's going to be a different awareness of life, and people are going to fall in to a pattern that may not serve them well in the coming years. But what's that thing they say? If you don't stand for something, you'll what? Fall for anything. So I'm going to ask you there's another thing I have underlined here. It's time to not be moved. Funny how that comes back to Steph's. You can
Say that
sit there.
again.
It's time to not be moved. You can be awakened. You can change everything about you, but don't move from who you are. Give them the good reason to build the statue for you, to you. What can you do today that ensures your joy? Is it giving? Is it doing a live? Is it interviewing somebody? Is it saying thank you a little bit more often? Is it saying I love you a little bit more often? I'd be curious. How many of you sent out your 3 messages today? Not as a don't have to respond either. Just ask yourself, did you send out your messages today? Did you send them out yesterday? And if you did, then look at what's happening in your life that might be a little bit different than most. I promise you, it's those simplest little things. It's the hearing of a kitten purr, your dog, watching your dog sleep, and their paws, right, flipping and running, right? They're chasing rabbits in their sleep. It's watching your baby sleep, hearing the little coos. It's hearing your lover next to you wake up and stretch or breathe. What are you paying attention to? What is joy in your life today? That's what I'd leave you with. Is this the day you find yourself? Is this the day you awaken to yourself? You have more of what you want and less of what you don't. Any last questions, thoughts, or comments? Oh, there we go. Chairman Stan in the house.
Hey, Sean, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
So yesterday, I was driving. I was just doing deliveries for work, and I had a little aha moment. So my father yesterday, he had stopped by my house. I don't live with him. My father, he has the same name as me. We look exactly the same, but we're completely different. Like, he's very hard-headed, not very nice. He's an alcoholic. He doesn't want to, like, I feel like my whole life that I known him, he doesn't really want to change. Like, he's stayed exactly the same. And I feel like right now, at the age I'm at, I've changed immensely compared to him. And then right after thinking about him, the song "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson came on. And I love that song. Sean, I was screaming that song. I was just singing to it. And then in the song, of course, he says, if you want to change the world, you have to change the man in the mirror. And I've said that to myself. And I feel like that's definitely what I'm doing. And a lot of people are doing by being on this call. Me being on this call is helping me change who I am. And then eventually I'm going to be able to help him change if that's what he wants, or I'm going to help change the world. And I just want to thank you, because what you're doing right now is to help changing the world, because again, you're helping me change, you're helping other people change. And me right now, I don't have that big of influence, but I know I will. And eventually I'm going to help change the world, or help change somebody that will change the world. And it definitely just starts with you, the person in the mirror. So just look in the mirror and tell yourself you want to change for the better. And thank you again for these calls, because you help so many people on these calls every single day.
Well, Stan, I appreciate it. And I need your subconscious to hear this. Every time you speak, you change the world. There's 62 people on this call that just heard you. You impacted all of them. You impacted some of them. The reality is you change the world right now. Don't think that there's some, you're going to need to be in white toga on stage in front of millions. It's how long will the change you impart in the world last? That's impact. You changed the world today, this morning, in that dialogue you just shared, in the breath that left your lungs, in the words that came out of your mouth. You changed the world. Be aware of that. This isn't, we're looking sometimes for the stage when all of a sudden, but we realize that we're always on stage. Everybody's watching. Everybody's listening. So now the question is, are
you gonna have to use them, bro?
Are you able to leave a message that lasts? And that's the residual effect, right? We talk about residual income. What's the residual effect of your conversation? Because it will always impact the world. The ripple effect of every dialogue and every conversation we have and everything we do is a ripple effect. So thank you for bringing us to an awareness today and reminding some of us the song "Man in the Mirror" by Michael Jackson, that brought back memories. You see everybody's head bouncing, right? That changed the world. That brought joy that nothing, and that was borrowed, right? You didn't have to create the song "Man in the Mirror." You borrowed it. And when we realize all we have is borrowed and all we have is in transition, we can impact the world.
You definitely know how to make me smile, Sean. I got a smile stuck on my face right now.
Well, that smile was inside. All we did was get rid of the distractions.
Yep.
You bet, brother. Thanks for sharing. Hey, Jose, when I talk about the messages, I ask you to make space. and send out some messages, 3 messages. Typically that's a good number. It's easy to do. It's easy, also easy not to do, but the messages are of joy, of a smile. Who did you think of when you want to send a note to somebody? So I'll send text to my bride. I'll send goofy text to my bride. I'll use emojis and try to speak in emojis, and it makes her giggle. She's like, you shouldn't do that. You're just not good at that. Or I'll try to be cool with Mason, and I'll do stuff, and he knows I'm trying to be quote cool with Mason. And it's like, you shouldn't do that. Or I'll send messages to people, just love, appreciation. And so here's the biggest reason why I send messages out. One, it's to be in gratitude. One is to remind me of the amazing people who are around me. But I will send messages out. I'm not sure where you are in the world, because I deal with a lot of global friends who are around the world. Now, most of them, I know exactly where they're at now, but I'll send something to them to the effect of, today's the day that I'm so grateful that you're in my world. And how, I don't know if you realize how much you do for me and for my family, but I'm grateful for you. And that might be a copy and paste, but I think about the person when I do it, and I send it, and I really mean it. And then what happens is, so now I've made space. When we give anything away, when we give away anger or anxiety or joy or happiness or laughter, we make space for whatever we give away. Steph said earlier, when I gave the example on the conversation, if I give you a little bit of my coffee, if I give away a little bit of my coffee, I give away that thing I'm holding on to. I only have 1 cup of coffee. If I give a little bit away, guess what the waitress can do next time she comes around? She can warm my coffee up. When you give away joy, guess what you got more space for? A little more joy. So I ask in the morning, send out your 3 messages, is to send out some love so that you get more love back. And it's just this repeating cycle. What do we want to have happen in our life? What do we want to have happen in our world? Why don't we start with it? We're waiting for somebody to give it to us. Well, there's no space to give it to us. You want some money? Go donate. Go give. And you don't have to give $10,000. Go give $2 to somebody. The story that was on here earlier, right? Manny bought a gentleman some soup. That afternoon, a gentleman shows up with 2 $100 bills saying, thank you for being him. What? Monique talks about walking outside, and money comes to her from a variety of methods. $100 smacks her in the chest. And she gives it to a young gentleman who doesn't quite always have food. So thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. iPhone. I'm not sure who that is, but iPhone has their hand up. They sent me a private message, whoever that is.
Hey, what's going on, Sean? How you doing?
There you go. Who do I have the privilege of speaking with?
This is Romello Simmons.
Okay. Good morning.
How you doing?
Outstanding.
Yeah, I just wanted to share my I guess my testimony yesterday. I had listened to what you said. I sent out like 50 gratification messages.
Okay.
The visuals. And I was just surprised of all the people that needed it, you know what I'm saying? And it was kind of heartwarming, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't really expect it. And I had a breakthrough in my business, and I got a whole bunch of individuals that was interested in what I was saying now, you know what I'm saying, just because I sent the love. And it was just a cool experience. So I know I'm gonna do that every single day now. Every single day, you feel me? So I really appreciate you and all the gems and jewels that you give, because you really be helping us out.
Well, listen, so all of the joy that you're experiencing, you just got to give to me. Literally,
Oh, yeah.
Rhonda Bird Parker says, it hit me in my feels.
Yeah,
So,
I hit up Rhonda. She, you know, gave me a whole bunch of love back. So I was just
aw.
saying the love.
But
Mhm.
and listen, I'm telling you, that's where we're at. There's not going to be, there's no room for any lukewarm water right now. There isn't.
That
There's no room for, I don't know. I love vanilla pudding, but there's no room for vanilla pudding. It's just we're gonna have to throw some raspberries in there. We're gonna have to be a little bit more. We're gonna and the world is starving for it. You just saw it. The world is starving. Well, this is stupid. That's your old story. That's
right.
your old story. Who needs this? This is ridiculous. This is dumb. You're right. I'm rich. Let's move on. The world is absolutely at an exponential pace aligning itself. And it'll align in prayer, and it'll align in love, and it'll align in faith, and it'll align in a good human being living next door to you.
Sure.
So I applaud you for doing that. I appreciate you for doing that. I'm in debt for you doing that, because here's what I know. Those 50 messages you send out and the messages you send out on a daily basis is changing the world. The people who engaged with you are smiling a little bit more. And because of the ripple effect, those smiles will show up in my family's life. Are you getting to understand, everybody, why I live in this state of just absolute bliss?
Right.
Because the smile you sent 2 years ago, I just saw today. It just took a while to get to me. I'm sometimes hard to reach.
All right.
So how do you feel?
I feel good now. I got it off my chest. I really I was thinking a little bit too much and trying to start off and doing it, and I just went ahead and just did it, and I kept on doing it because I love the response I was getting.
Give it away, get some back. Ooh, that's good. Let me give some more away. Get some more back. Ooh, let me do that again. Give it away, get some more back.
All right, for sure, for sure.
Isn't that
For sure.
awesome?
All right, moving with love. For sure.
I'm so very proud of you. Thank you for making the world a better place for me and for my family. I'm going to say that very self-fully, but thank you for making the world a better place for me and my family. I appreciate you.
You too, man.
This is cool. This is what we get to do. When you hear stories like that, when you realize, when you hear it working, whew, glad it's worked. All of this to say, this is just exactly what's happening right now. This is what's going to separate you, because the world is being polarized. Right? We always said 20 years ago when I started in the profession, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 minutes ago, we've always said in this profession, if we could get the world involved in our profession of MLM, Me Loving More, there wouldn't be another war ever. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if all of a sudden Texas wanted to go to war with Arkansas? I'd be like, you know how many people I have on my team in Arkansas? Y'all better go sponsor some people in Arkansas. We ain't shooting Arkansas. We ain't blowing it up. You kidding? That's half my paycheck. Have war with Canada? Are you kidding? When you realize the power that you have in your hands to bring value to the world by loving somebody, all of these people that showed up in his life that say, man, I'm interested in doing what you're doing. You know why? Because nobody has sent them a damn message of love. And they're like, what are you doing that you're in the right mindset? Whatever you're doing, I got to do. I don't know what you're doing, but whatever you're doing, I got to do it. So there you go. RBP, any last words?
I do. I have one thing I want to read to y'all, and it's just some prophetic words to speak over y'all, and then some things to give your mind to think. It's just like 6 sentences. It says, God's creative genius is reflected in you. Make a gratitude list of your unique internal and external features that you want to thank Him for. Ask Him to help you value what He esteems in you. Consider the fact that you were created with a divine mission in mind ask the Lord to begin to open your eyes to the way your uniqueness is matched with the assignment He's got in mind for you. Just want you to sit in that and realize you reflect His genius, His creative genius. And you are so valuable and so precious. And you have everything you need. Write it down, what He's given you, the internal and external qualities. And then thank Him for those. And that will put you in an even greater state of love and gratitude. And go share that with somebody. They need it. They're hoping somebody will bring kindness and love into their life today. Go be great. Go love somebody. I love y'all.
And Heavenly Father, just keep everybody safe. Keep everybody safe. Keep the connections open. Allow them to hear more of what they're looking for and less of what they're not. Allow them to, each of us, to become more of what we desire, more of what we dream of, because our dreams are coming true right now.
Amen.
And I want to say thank you for each of you being here today, because you're a blessing in my life. You give me courage. You give me strength. You feed me with your love. You feed me with your questions, and it allows me to do more of what I love to do and less of what I don't. So that being said, I'm Sean Murphy, along with an amazing group of misfits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all send some love to each other.
I love y'all. Have a
Love you
wonderful
guys. Love you.
day.
Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all.
Love you guys.
Love you all, my Misfit family. Everyone have a blessed, loving day.
I love you guys. Have a great day.
Love y'all.
Y'all stay safe.
Yes, please stay safe. Stay healthy.
Health
Love
is
y'all.
wealth.
Oils. Use all that good stuff.
Love.
Love, 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 love. Yes, yes, yes.
Holy, holy, holy
Holy
Spirit.
Spirit.
Love you all very, very, very. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you all.
Thanks, Leo.